Welcome back, everybody. Today we're looking at the new Storm Axiom Pearl. If you like what we do, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out on Patreon. A big thank you to Jeff Miller and Ron Hoppy. Don't forget to check out Haley's Pro Shop in Burlington, Washington for world-class drilling and coaching. We're testing on a 40-foot typical house shot. First impressions, great ball reaction out of the gate from the Axiom Pearl. There are some interesting nuances to discuss. Straight away, I had a smile on my face with the Axiom Pearl ball reaction, but that's not very objective, so let's get into why and then some of the nuances you need to be aware of if you plan on picking this up. It's obviously a Pearl version of the Axiom, but very similar to the way we recently discussed the track Proof versus Proof Pearl. This is clearly a relative of the Axiom, not some sort of weird concoction, meaning it's simple relationship where if you just need a bit cleaner reaction, you move from the Axiom to the Axiom Pearl and you'll get that slightly later reaction with just a bit quicker response to dry. We talked about how the Axiom could replace the Phase 2 when that was released, but the Axiom Pearl seems pretty different from the very quick responding, more angular Phase 3. This one could almost be mistaken for an Axiom Pearl due to its heavier roll with a bit of a hook set motion down lane. My eyes lit up initially because it matched what I saw as the almost ideal transition of skid to hook to roll. The core transition is balanced perfectly to the cover responsiveness. So that balance means the core transition smooths out the cover's responsiveness to dry. The core is transitioning ahead of the end of the pattern, so it's not this just explosive end of the pattern sideways motion. Actually reminds me a lot of the Rotogrip High Wire, except it's stronger overall. So it's not that it's slow to respond, and it's certainly quicker than the Parallax, but it does have a certain almost rollout shape, especially if you have lower tilt. Even where I am 13 degrees axis tilt, the ball seemed to hit a wall around 15 through the arrows before carry gets kind of tricky. And I think this ball will not like the most direct lines to the pocket, nor will it like huge angles, particularly from the left side, but in between it looks fantastic. Sean was next, and immediately you can see the hook set motion is more prevalent. He uses less tilt, so when it stands up, it's very clear. It was still effective and a nice shape overall. So it seems like it'll be a bit release sensitive, meaning, I don't mean it's a negative way, but meaning if you're very end over end, you'll see the rollout characteristic a bit more, whereas if you have more tilt, you're likely to get a little bit of a smoother, more boomy reaction. It's relatively strong, but essentially what Sean saw was he needed to, move in, find a little oil, but watch the amount of rotation because it can still be quick or early to respond. And he also wanted to get a little more tilt to get a more consistently effective ball reaction. Bryan is back as well, and the Storm Axiom Pearl looked quite good for him. We aren't always certain with Pearls, especially Pearl ASIMs, where they're a little too strong to play direct, but lose axis too hard when moving in for Bryan. Bryan still saw that rounded, heavy, forward rolling motion from the Axiom Pearl, but the length and transition made it a very good matchup. He felt it gave him a strong move and heavy drive through the pins. It was actually fun to see, and I'm sure for him to throw those packed strikes. He felt like he had a decent amount of room and some hold inside, whereas misses outside were less likely to recover due to the stand-up nature of the core. For me, I had more room out than in. Final thoughts. The Axiom Pearl has a very nice shelf appeal. It has a pretty versatile roll and looks like it can match up to many styles. The thing that wasn't wavering is the more stand-up, hard stop of this ball. This gives it a good window of operation, but one that seemed to be pretty obviously defined. And I actually think that's a good thing. You can probably play around with layouts to tweak this a bit to match your game. But if you have an Axiom and have those times where you just wish you had the same shape but just a slightly cleaner look no further than the Axiom Pearl.